bit late ng, I think, 5 minutes. So, pagpasensyahan niyo na. Hello everyone. Kumusta? I think medyo medyo excited tayo ngayon na magpa-live because of the recent Binibining Pilipinas na activity today. And hello everyone. Mangumusta muna tayo. Ned is here. He's rooting for Binibini number 14 from Albay. And then hello, kumusta Art? Welcome sa sa pa-live natin ngayon. Thank you very much for joining our pa-live and thank you for joining us today. And then we also have Travel Junkie. Hello, kumusta Travel Junkie? Medyo mainit ngayon, medyo maalinsangan, so medyo tawag ito, medyo kinakailangan kong magpaypay kasi kinda humid today. There's actually what do you call this? There's actually a tropical depression or a typhoon coming in, so it's bringing in the humidity. So today, or rather tonight, ang pag-uusapan natin is the Binibining Pilipinas activity that happened earlier on at the Gateway Mall in Araneta City activity area. So medyo medyo marami tayong gustong pag-usapan with regards to that event. Okay, Rodvin Fiel, hello, kumusta? How are you? It's great to see you here. So, bago pala tayo mag-start, please like the video sa ating live stream para mas marami yung makakita ng ating pa-live ngayon, so that it triggers the algorithm in favor for our episode for this evening, because this evening this event marks the beginning of the competition talaga. The heat will begin after this event. Nakita natin that medyo relaxed, medyo easy peasy pa yung attitude, hindi pa ganun ka intense yung competition after the talent na activity earlier this month. And it only goes to say that yung competition actually starts when nag-start ng maglabas ang binibini ng mga photoshoots ng mga girls. So, just a background there with the Binibining Pilipinas Glamshots. The Glamshots are actually shot at around February, earlier in February. I think right after they were announced as official candidates, they already scheduled a series of photo shoot from the months of February until the mid or third week of March. That's what I've been told with regards to the Binibining Pilipinas na activities. Kaya siguro on our part, medyo tahimik yung months ng February to March, because that's where they started shooting a lot of the content that they are going to publish in the coming weeks. So ibig sabihin, doon pa lang sa months na yon, pumupondo na ang Binibining Pilipinas. So that is kind of cool, because right now ready for release na lahat ng mga materials nila on social media. Ayan, may mga bagong dating. Rodville Fiel is here, sabi niya, present sir. Travel Junkies, sabi niya, malamig dito sa Sofia, Bulgaria, sa Europe. EU country, sabi niya, sir, malamig dito sa Sofia, Bulgaria. Bakasyon po. Just waited for our live before I go out again. Thank you. Medyo exciting tong Binibining Pilipinas ngayon kasi dumating si Madam. It was actually during the event na biglang bumulong sa akin yung PR ng Araneta City at saka ng Binibining Pilipinas, saying na, uy, Sir Jason, darating si Madam. So, maghanda ka kasi it's a surprise na appearance ni Madam Stella earlier. So, Art Laurent, hello universe. Saka na natin pag-usapan yung universe na yan kasi let's focus muna on Binibining Pilipinas in tonight's live stream. I think I'm just gonna schedule siguro the topic on Miss Universe Philippines maybe on our live stream this coming Saturday, so that hindi siya masyado humalo dito sa pag-uusapan natin today. Again, dun sa mga bagong dating, please like our video so that it will trigger yung algorithm ng YouTube, so para makarami yung pakarami-rami yung mga ano, yung mga makakita sa atin today. Ayan, let me just adjust the angle of my camera. Why is it so like this? Wait. Ayan, iangat kaya natin. Ayun. Peter John Toyorada. Hanggang ngayon, tight-lipped pa rin ang Binibining Pilipinas when it comes to the crowns that they're going to have this year. And sa pantaha ko, I think it's going to be the safest 3 crowns. Ilalaban nila talaga, tingin ko, yung Incontinental. And if they really have the legal papers to to show that they actually own the actual na license for up until 2026 for the pageant, then meron silang meron silang meeting later sa korte with the Intercon na org. I don't know how it's going to play out, although but let's just hope na it will be for the better. I am not very sure kung may mga bagong titles because I think may mga lumalapit. That is what's clear. It's just that mapili ang Binibining Pilipinas and the heads of Binibining Pilipinas when they're acquiring yung mga franchises. Because I think yung mga malalaking pageants, the rumor that I've heard is that yung mga malalaking pageants like Supranational, nagparamdam sa Binibining Pilipinas. Yung One Alpha pageant, definitely, hindi ko muna pangangalanan, nagparamdam sa Binibining Pilipinas. So it's the ball is actually on the Binibining Pilipinas Charities Incorporated na court. Whether or not they're gonna take in the franchises na nagpapakita sa kanila, it's up to them. So, yun lang, hintay-hintay lang tayo. Mark Gonzalez is here. Sabi niya, good evening, Sir Jason. It was refreshing to see Madam SMA grace the recent PBP event. I couldn't help but smile when I saw her being escorted to join the candidates. And actually, that's a good thing that she came in because there were so many floating rumors around na she's not she's deteriorated she's deteriorating na nga daw, and that wheelchair na lang siya parate, ganyan. And it goes to show na may mga rumors na hindi naman totoo. So in as much as there are rumors na may validity, there are also rumors na kailangan natin na makita for sure para maniwala tayo. And seeing Madam sprightly joining in doon sa event kanina despite her age. I think she's around 80 plus something. So alam naman natin na fragile na rin siyang kumilos, ganyan, but for her age, she's still able to show na she's still in great shape. So we love the fact that she came in for the activity earlier kasi this marks the beginning of the real competition for Binibining Pilipinas in my opinion. I think that the Glamshot na exhibit showcased yung bakit Binibining Pilipinas, it remains still as the most prestigious na competition na national pageant dito sa Pilipinas. And I would like to give shout out doon sa mga people behind the Glamshots kasi pulido. Wala kang maipintas when it comes to yung lighting, when it comes to the photography. Mukha siyang HD. If you look at your phones, yung nakikita nyo sa social media is actually not the same photos that are exhibited at the actual na glam shot na exhibition. And there are some subtle differences. Una, of course, yung background. Pangalawa is there are some photos na yung secondary angle ng mga girls ang kinuha at nilagay doon sa mga mga photos that were exhibited. So another thing is I can say for certain that when Binibining Pilipinas, their social media, pages, mentioned that they're bringing back the glam in the glam shots. I was actually thrilled when I actually seen the Binibining Pilipinas photos during, I think no, it was Monday. Monday pa lang naka-up na yung mga photos doon sa exhibition area ng Gateway Mall. I was actually going to another event on that day, and napadaan, it was just only happenstance na napadaan ako sa Gateway Mall because it's the mall that leads me going to the MRT. And napadaan ako dun sa activity area at dun ko nakita yung all 40 na glam shots early on, in the tawag ito, early on 2 days before the actual na unveiling, 2 days before the actual event. And I was able to get some footage habang very bare pa yung exhibit, and that's what I've posted on certain social media na mga accounts ko on YouTube, Instagram, for this coverage, so that it allowed me to take in more of what's happening in the event, be able to talk to the people behind the photo shoot. I was able to talk to Sir Raymond, who took the photos, to Sir Henry, who styled the girls for the photo shoot, and I was able even to talk with Miss Justine Aliman, who's the designer for the swimsuit for the press presentation coming later on. May excite kayo doon sa tawag ito, doon sa swimsuits for the press presentation kasi the clue that was given to me is that it's going to be a little bit different from what we've seen so far. So may parang achievement and sports na element yung magiging swimsuit for either the swimsuit na glam shot or the press presentation. So alam mo yun, it kind of gives me like something to be excited about with regards to the upcoming event. But going back dito sa usapan natin with the glam shots, I'm actually very much impressed because as compared to other national pageants and other pageants that are happening concurrently with Binibining Pilipinas, there is such a very clean, meticulous way that the Binibining Pilipinas organization presented yung kanilang mga glam shots. Malinis, hindi siya madilim, plakado yung photography. Every girl has been given the opportunity to shine. Walang nagmukhang ay parang hindi inedit itong photo na ito or hindi man lang binigyan ng magandang angulo yung candidate na ito. Walang ganon sa Binibining Pilipinas na glam shot na nakita ko. Every girl was given the opportunity to put their best foot forward in their glam shots. Wala kang makikitang chismis dun sa mga pictures itself. I think that we owe that kind of aesthetic to the photographers, Sir Raymond, Saldana, and Owen, Reyes, na sila yung nag-shoot nung mga pictures na yon. And the good thing here is that lahat sila mukhang maayos yung mga pictures nila. So all 40 candidates really look good in their respective na mga glam shots. And I know that there is a criticism that says na masyadong Photoshop or masyadong glamorized yung tawag nito, yung mga photos ng mga girls. At least kahit na ganun pa man yung perception ng mga tao with regards to the photos, lahat sila pantay-pantay. Hindi yung tipong there are some girls na overly Photoshop, samantalang may mga girls na hindi naman ganun na naayos man lang yung mga hindi magandang makita doon sa mga photos nila. So that wala akong magiging issue with that. I'd rather have set of 40 candidates who were airbrushed, um, and look good in their, in their photos, rather than have a glam shot na hindi pinapakita yung the best na mga angles, or the best of, the the best of the abilities of the girls, that does not present the, in the best foot forward, ika nga. Because for me, because this is a pageant, I still think that aesthetics is very much a key component of the pageant. And I like the fact that walang napag-iwanan when it comes to editing, when it comes to photography with all 40 candidates. Lahat sila pantay-pantay na umangat. And this is something that we've already experienced in the past, especially last year, where even the girls who are not very, very pretty in person, when it comes to their official na mga photos, they look good. Um, hindi yung tipong they look like haggard, or they look na parang madilim yung photography, or madilaw ang ngipin, madilaw ang mata, or hindi yung best angles ng mga girls yung ipinapaskill on social media. And I think that is, something na a millennial na pageant, observer like me, would very much appreciate, because I don't want that the girls are not given their opportunity to shine, whether it's in their glam shot, or in their swimsuit na mga portraits, or even in their national costume ng mga photos. And what I like with Binibining Pilipinas is that consistent, year in year out, yung mga photos nila. So there is a certain aesthetic that is already pretty much associated with Binibining Pilipinas, of course, because of Sir Raymond and Owen Reyes, who took the photos for the Binibinis year in, year out. Now, shout out muna tayo doon sa mga professionals behind the glam shot, because I really think that they did a great job in this, in this aspect. The photographers were Reyes. We also had the stylists, Macky, Combe, and Sir Patrick, who really brought in, a very clean na styling for the girls. Their theme actually for the Binibining Pilipinas girls this year is actually quite opulence, and they wanted to bring forth like a very clean attack to that kind of theme. Hindi masyado maburloloy. If you look at the photos of the girls from the batch of sina Karen Lawrence, sina Gabby last year, sina Nicole Borromeo, very very maximalist yung attack. There is a sense of very glam, but very in your face yung mga elements that you see. So you see a lot of bling in the photography last year, and that is pretty much discarded for the glam shots this year. And even looking at the at the glam shots this year, wala masyadong burloloy yung mga girls. I think that's something na appreciate ko sa glam shot na ito, kasi in most cases when you look at glam shots, especially in the Trump era, during the Fadil na time, overly accessorized yung mga girls. If you haven't noticed that, go back to the Miss USA, where it was, Grecian goddess yung theme nila, or even the mga headshots ng mga Miss Universe at around the 2010s, ganyan. Very accessorized yung kanilang mga photos. And looking at the Binibining Pilipinas headshots this year, makikita mo na it's the faces of the girls that shines. Hindi umaaway yung mga suot ng mga girls, or yung background ng mga photos doon sa mismong mukha ng mga girls. And I think that's a very, very great way of doing a headshot, because the headshot should, showcase the face of the girls. And I think the direction to create very distinct na looks that are clear, but at the same time very fashion. I think that's the great thing about Binibining Pilipinas and the styling team of Sir Patrick, Macky Combe, and of course Justin Aliman. I think also we have to owe it to the designers sina Allan Laserna and Odelon Simpao, because they were able to create mga outfits that are not overpowering. Kasi yun yung isa sa mga magiging problema kapag overpowering yung outfits, that it's more of the clothes rather than the girl. And for a headshot na challenge, it's definitely should be the girl's face that is highlighted, not the outfit. And I think maganda yung nakikita mo na it's still fashion, but it's not very fashion that it becomes a secondary thought na lang yung girl. It's the other way around. So maganda yung compliment na the fashion helps to improve or helps to magnify yung beauty ng mga girls doon sa mga photos nila. And I think yun yung mga or rather elements that other national pageants don't actually nail it on the head. A lot of their headshots is either too dark, does not show the best angles of the girls, or it does not give off a glamorous na feel to it. It may be fashion, but it's not very glamorous, or it's not it does not put the girl and make her look great. I hope you get yung what I'm trying to say with that. Also, if you haven't, kung hindi nyo napapansin doon sa my exhibit, for those who went earlier today, the girls who were wearing predominantly mga florals doon sa kanilang mga headshots are actually having like mga tawag ito, mga orange or tangerine yung shade ng kanilang background, while the girls who are wearing feathers are having fuchsia, or rather a tint of magenta doon sa kanilang mga images. So medyo so when you look at them at the perspective na tinitignan mo sila doon sa actual na event, may konting depth and konting differences yung kanilang mga photos. Unlike last year na it's everything predominantly blue, kung minsan nakikita mong maganda yung photo, but at the same time the faces of the candidates kinds of become secondary doon sa photography. And I think looking in comparison from last year to this year, I think I prefer yung mga headshots this year because of that element, that the fashion and the background does not take too much away from the girls. Last year, they were able to pull off the blue and the maximalist na look, because a lot of the girls are very facially gorgeous. This time around, we have a diversity in terms of beauty, in terms of background sa mga Binibining Pilipinas girls natin. So I think yung element na tawag ito, yung element na the girls are able to shine, not because of the fashion, is really important, because aminin ko, in terms of the facial beauty, mas mabigat, mas matimbang yung batch last year as compared to this year. However, when I am looking at the girls, mas marami in this batch yung mas magaling magsalita. But I think that's a conversation that we will table for now, at pag-uusapan natin yan later on, because those are things na na hindi pa natin kinakailangan i-discuss sa ngayon, because right now ang pag-uusapan natin is the glam shots. Okay, I'm gonna read some some comments before I continue, because there are also some notes that I've brought here na gusto kong i-discuss. Okay, where are we? We ended up with Mark Gonzalez. Now we have Fan. Nasaan na yung comment ni Fan? Okay, 10, 20, 30 years from now, ma-appreciate ang mga candidates ng Binibining Pilipinas sa mga photos nila compared to MUPH girls. Kailan po kaya ang mag-o-open ang Gateway 2? Okay, Fan, I agree. Decades from now, yung mga portraits ng mga girls, the girls na sumali from the batch after Catriona or even after the pandemic, would really be enriched by the experience that they had with Binibining Pilipinas because lahat ng mga glam shots nila walang tapon. They can use it in their portfolios, they can maximize yung mga images na ito later on when they are they already have families or they've already built a career and papakita nila sa mga anak, sa mga apo nila that during my time we really were experiencing the best of what a national pageant has to offer. With regards to your second question, kailan mag-open ang Gateway 2? I am not sure because the soft opening has already begun, I think months ago or a couple of months ago. The actual na grand opening of Gateway 2 probably might happen later this year. I am not at the loop with regards to that. I might ask maybe someone from the Araneta group later on kapag may activity ulit with regards to when yung full opening ng Gateway. But from what I know, it has already opened soft opening. One of the shops that's opened in Gateway Mall 2 is I think Boteju. It's a Japanese restaurant, so I think yun lang pa lang yung naririnig ko. Ishtin, sabi niya, umabot ba ako? Yes, Ishtin, umabot ka naman. We haven't gone through my list of 10 girls who were my picks or my personal favorites when it comes to their glam shots. Okay, ang nabanggit ko pa lang is some of the behind the scenes background on the people behind the glam shot na exhibit. Leogard CG. Ang ganda ni Rima. Sana pinagsama mo kasi yung pangalan, yung Ri at saka Ma. Leogard. Yes, maganda si Rima ngayon. Yung mas nag-improve siya actually, I believe. And the good thing about Rima is that lumutang siya from dahil siya yung isa sa mga pinaka-morena na mga girls. Lumutang yung skin tone niya nung ni-line up silang lahat. I am not sure why. Ewan ko kung napansin nyo ito. Comment it if napansin nyo din. A lot of the girls, siguro dahil marami silang mga indoor na mga activity, marami sa kanila pumuti. Or, I'm not sure, I'm hoping that they didn't bleach themselves. But a lot of the girls look a little bit lighter in terms of the skin tone as compared to the first time that I met them at around February of this year. Maybe it's because yun na nga, marami sa kanila nasa loob lang ang mga indoors yung kanilang mga activities, but I think marami sa kanila gumaganda habang tumatagal. I'm not sure because una, may mga napansin din kasi ako ng mga girls na because of the stress of the incoming na mga activities and yung mga past activities, nagbe-breakout na. But a lot of the girls lost some weight. I am not sure if it's because of the stress or the hecticness of the schedule, or it's because they are really gearing up their physical fitness at nagpapapayat talaga sila in accordance to the timetable that they're gonna have. What I heard is that in the next few weeks they will already be having their press presentation. So swimsuits ang labanan. So kailangan talaga siguro medyo physically fit sila. But a lot of the girls really lost weight. And a lot of the girls have started to break out na. Nagkakaroon na silang ng mga acne na breakouts, and I think kinakailangan nilang remedyohan yon dahil kapag nag-scoring later on doon sa press presentation, titignan kung sino yung magandang skin. So, they really need to kind of nail that yung beauty of face. At tandaan natin, beauty of face is 50% of the scores in Binibining Pilipinas. So you really need to make sure you take care of your skin. Travel junkie, nasaan ka na? Basahin ko mamaya itong itong comment mo. Unahin ko muna itong si Lord Lena. Magaganda ang portraits. Nagpakita na kanina si Madam SMA sa mga candidates, pero sandali lang, nakakatawa at nakaka-proud daw si Madam. And the thing kasi with Madam is, iba pa din kasi yung presence niya when it comes to the Binibining Pilipinas activities. We all know for the past decades, from the time Binibining Pilipinas was established in 1964 up until now, parating fixture si Madam sa mga activities ng Binibining Pilipinas. It's only when she started to become more fragile because of the pandemic, na naging masyadong missed yung kanyang presence sa mga activities, that the fans really were clamoring yung presence niya doon sa mga activities ng Binibining Pilipinas. And then also, may napansin din ako doon sa event this year. I am not sure if you've seen it doon sa mga nandoon sa event kanina. Medyo magulo yung reveal ng or rather yung flow ng activity, because may mga nakapasok na hindi dapat nakapasok doon sa activity area. The original plan is supposed to be that the media people, alongside with the girls, should be the ones who are inside the cordoned area. Pero may nakapasok na mga fans and outsiders and mga family members ng mga girls. And hindi ko sinasabi na they are the gate crashers, because nung nag-open sila sa mga media, hindi na nabanggit na this is only a media muna na event. Paunahin niyo muna yung media na makapasok. I think that was a misstep on the BPCI na part. However, what I like about that is that ang daming tao. It kind of felt like this is the kind of Binibining Pilipinas activity that we missed, kasi nung announcement of official candidates, yung mga tao at the back door of the New Frontier Theater, manipis pa yon compared to the previous years. This time around, na-feel ko na ang daming tao, and it kinda was exciting for me because there's a lot of people to talk to. I did not particularly invested my time with the girls, but rather I took more time na kinausap ko yung mga people behind the behind the scenes, at ano yung mga kwento with regards to their portraits, ano yung theme, what are the things that they did for the shoot. So yun yung mga yun, mas na-appreciate ko yun, because those are things that not a lot of pageant media would dig in, because they would rather put the focus on the girls. But I will be having more content with the girls later on, kaya hindi rin sila hindi rin sila magsisisi na nandun nandun ako. Okay, nasaan na ba 'yun? Magandang portraits. Fan. Fan, with regards to your question, I am not sure if Kat and Nicole ang host sa finals, because again, as I've said, anything with regards to finals, the Binibining Pilipinas people and RNFSCT people are very mum about it. Very quiet sila. And I think that's I'm expecting and rather hoping na sana sila pa din yung host natin for the finals. But I am thinking na baka this year may konting mix up with regards to the hosts So let's see about that. Tapos ano pa ba to? Mga comments. Leo Garcia, sorry na po, Sir Jason. Okay, it's okay. Typo error lang siguro yon. Travel Junkie, sabi niya, I really appreciate the glam shots of Binibining Pilipinas. Very classy. Ikakatuwa talaga ng mga girls. Sino ba, sir, ano ba talaga o ilan ang crowns ng Binibini? Patsaan naman. Again, I am not sure because they've been tight-lipped. Right now, my guess is it's still at around 3 na crowns. What are those 3 crowns? For sure, Globe and International nandyan pa. With the third crown, I don't know kung ano yung mangyayari din sa third crown. I am sure, though, that hihintayin natin ang announcement if are they gonna pursue Intercontinental or let go na lang nila. Nasaan na tayo? Sir, ano ang say mo kay Binibini 36 from Hermosa? Wait, hindi ko kabisado yung mga numbers. Honestly, I am more with the name. So, who is Binibini 36? Let me check. 36. Nasaan na yung aking listahan? Who's Binibini 36? I think ayan, tuloy. Nawala na tuloy ako sa aking Chiles. Hindi ko nakita si Chiles masyado kanina. Lord Lina. Hindi ko siya napansin. However, maayos yung kanyang yung kanyang glam shot. Wala akong maipintas. It's just that perhaps there are other girls who utilize different poses para umangat sila doon sa listahan ko, which I will be discussing in a bit. Tapusin ko lang itong mga comments. Okay. Nasaan na ba tayo? Shasha, looking young and fresh si Miss Albay. May Flores, okay, si Fan sabi niya, may Flores de Mayo po ba this year or wala na? Meron. And it will happen in May kasi kaya nga siya tinawag na Flores de Mayo. So magkakaroon tayo ng Grand Santa Cruzan. The dates hindi ko muna pwede i-reveal because it's still tentative yung dates na yon. But I do hope na yung yung dates na yon lumaban, pumantay, makipag eye to eye sila doon sa isa nilang kakompetensya na pageant. So, yon. I think that's pretty much enough a wide clue on when the Santa Cruzan is the grand, Santa Cruzan is going to happen. Sana cheaper saan na ba doon? Sana cheaper ang tickets at earlier ang start ng Binibining Pilipinas Finals. Oo, I agree. Sana naman medyo mas affordable especially yung mga malalapit na seats doon sa may stage na area. However, with regards to sana maaga silang mag-start, okay lang sa akin na hindi sila maaga mag-start. Ang hope ko lang is that on time silang mag-start para hindi tayo aabutan ng alas 12, alauna ng announcement. Kasi yun naman yung yun naman yung karamihan ng natin ng peeve natin with the pageants here in the Philippines na 30 minutes, 1 hour yung delay, tapos aabutin pa ng ilang oras. So sana this time around para hindi mapagod yung audience na mag-cheer, gawin nila na the pageant starts on time and then it ends on time at hindi yung delayed. Okay? Kahit na hindi sila maagang mag-start, basta on time lang. Nasaan na tayo? Miss Albay, sa Pageant Talk 2017, Miss Albay is serving as face, even without the hand poses, mukha, and killer yung fresh vibe, nailed it. Ayan. Mr. Zukumofu, Owanatics. Hello people. Will there be any hint announced regarding surprise additional title or crown? Nasagot ko na yan. Lemuel, 23.5. Hi Lemuel. Suki ka na dito sa ating mga lives. So, ang kanyang comment. Hello Sir Jason. Good evening. Personally, I think the three strongest for the Miss International crown might be between Miriam or Mirhan, Hipolito, Rima Adacoden, and Tricia Martinez. Consistent sa journey nila. Okay, babasagin ko yung listahan mo, Lemuel, kasi marami sa mga girls na hindi mo pa nabanggit doon sa listahan mo, magagaling kumuda. They're really very outspoken, magaling magsalita, because I have at least 4 girls on the top of my head na pwedeng mag-blow away ng competition because of their ability to speak. I know that we have been harping about medyo short yung mga girls, medyo mas marami sa kanila morena, ganyan. I think that a lot of people needs to understand that hindi lang ganda yung titignan or height, but they also are gonna look for people or girls na magaling din na magsalita. And I think this year marami kang pagpipilian when it comes to the choices for Miss International Philippines, kasi I would say based on my experience, the girls who are really good at speaking are si Jovel. I've heard her speak some snippets on social media on the way that she talks. Jovel Bea. I also have Gianna Lianes. Any of the girls who cross over from Miss Philippines Earth to Binibining Pilipinas this year, this batch, marunong magsalita. Even Sofia Galve is able to carry herself very well in a conversation. Another girl na kinakailangan yung bantayan is si Katrina Ann Johnson. She really speaks well. If you looked at my video, yung 10 binibinis, one message on sustainability, she is definitely the girl that on that video pinaka direct and at magaling pumunto ng mga thoughts niya when it comes to her communication skills. So let's not sleep on Katrina. I think there's a lot of girls that if we are going to have an opportunity to talk to them, engage with them in a more relaxed na setting, a lot of them can actually wow us with their communication skills. So there. Nasaan na ba tayo? Let's tawid muna siguro tayo sa sa tawag nito, sa from the comments to the actual list ng sorry. Tawid muna tayo from the comments to the actual list of mga girls whose photos impressed me during the reveal ng Glamshot exhibits nila. Okay? Saan ang aking listahan? At okay, wait. Okay, here. First, in my list, I have Angelica Lopez. Oh, by the way, this list medyo random siya. So, pagpasensyahan nyo na, hindi ko sila ni-rank because I know ranking them would mean very subjective na nga yung list, subjective pa yung ranking. It's not helpful. Sadali lang. It's not helpful because it does not help you with the confidence of the girls. So I've eliminated yung mga ranking mga hot picks na yan, because it does not help with the girls na they are at the bottom of the list or not even mentioned in our list. So yun. let's talk first doon sa image photo ni hindi kita uh, ni Angelica Lopez. Sorry, I don't know how to show yung image niya, but itong si Angelica Lopez, maganda yung pinakita niyang post doon sa photo because siya yung kakaiba. She's the only girl who actually used her hands focusing on her head, and what it creates is a triangle that allows us to focus and hone in doon sa kanyang mata, because I think Angelica's greatest asset is actually her eyes. I love the fact that medyo smoky yung eyes na pinili niya for her glam shot. I am not sure kung meron silang say on the type of makeup for their glam shots, but medyo smoky yung pinili na image rather na eyeshadow ni Angelica for her glam shot, and it really put focus on her eyes. If you look at yung kanyang tawag nito, yung kanyang photo, it's actually the eyes that magnetizes, that you focus on. Maganda yung jawline, maganda yung nose, yung cheekbones na angles, the shapes that she created, and knowing that the best angles, human angles of the face is actually on the 3/4 na angle. That is actually the best angle that you can show on a photo. Yung head-on na face, looking directly at the camera, mahirap i-pull off yon kung hindi ka confident na maganda ka. So yun yung gusto ko dito sa photo ni Angelica Lopez, because it really focus on her face without even noticing na ang dami niyang abubot sa leeg at saka sa ulo. There's a lot of feathers on her neck and on her head, but you don't give attention to that because you are drawn to her face. So yun yung what I like about Angelica's image. Next, I also have Trisha Martinez doon sa listahan ko. Again, you cannot see it on on my phone. But the beauty with Trisha Martinez is that she relied heavily on her face. Hindi niya kinakailangan na magpaandar with the hands, hindi niya kinakailangan masyadong marikado yung kanyang photo, but rather she made sure that she used her best angle for the photo. And ito yung kind of image na may associate mo na pang Miss International yung ganitong mukha, because malinis, malambot tignan, very soft and feminine, but at the same time there's a certain arrive that she exudes. Hindi siya yung tipong strong na image, but it kind of, if you look at it ng mas matagalan, mas gumaganda, mas maganda yung mas maganda yung nakikita mo. There are some girls kasi na it kind of bubulagain ka niya when it comes to her photo. There are girls who are kind of like that, but habang tumatagal, nagsasawa ka doon sa mukha nung nasa photo. You don't get that with the photo of Trisha. Habang tumatagal, parang mas lalong gumaganda yung kanyang mukha. And I think that's one of the things that I really kind of like with this photo. It's simple. It's not very overly done or overly made, but it shows the kind of beauty that Trisha has. Very quiet confidence yung nakikita ko dun sa kanyang mukha. Next, we have number 8, Mirihan Hipolito. And if you look at the image ni Mirhan sa kanyang glam shot, it's actually one of those glam shots na very hindi ko pwedeng sabihin simple, but rather very effective. It's not one of those, striking from the moment that you look at. This is the kind of photo that grows on you over time. This is the kind of image na habang tumatagal, mas na-appreciate mo because she's able to, to yung mukha mo. And this is the kind of glam shot image na kapag nilagay mo sa magazine cover, bebenta yung magazine cover na yon. I think very subtle lang yung yung hand-eye movement niya, hindi masyado matapang. And this is also the reason why I kind of get the reference that she has a little bit of the Janine Tugonon and Miriam Kiambao na look, because very very Binibining Pilipinas yung kanyang mukha. I know you get that reference because this is the kind of face na would do well at an international competition because it represents, the very Filipina na beauty. Yung kanyang posing, yung kanyang very very pensive na way of expression dun sa kanyang photo kinds of give you the aura. Kaya pala na niya yung mga soft na mga styling. And I think, whenever I see Mirhan during the Binibining Pilipinas activities so far, there's always something about her styling that needs to be tweaked a little bit. Especially on the hair and makeup. And looking forward, kinakailangan na maayos niya yung daily styling niya para lumabel yung daily styling niya doon sa nakikita natin doon sa kanyang photo, doon sa kanyang what do you call this, doon sa kanyang glam shot na photo, because itong glam shot na photo na to very what do you call this, you can play around with in terms of yung pwede mong gawin sa kanya. I think it's just that she needs the shots rather on the makeup pala and styling, because sayang kung hindi niya maplakado yon. However, looking at her photo here right now, itong picture niya, she's kind of giving me the vibes na kahit na anong pageant, whether it's Miss International, Miss Globe, or Miss Intercontinental, or whatever other international pageant na ipadala mo sa kanya, if you train her well, if you give her the best wardrobe, she's gonna make you proud. So I hope na that's one of the things that her team should be able to address as early as now, because in terms of the styling game na pag-iiwanan siya, but in terms of this photo, this is the kind of photo na pwedeng manalo sa Binibining Pilipinas. And this is the kind of photo na kapag tinignan mo, ilagay mo sa magazines, as a magazine cover, hindi ka magsisisi. And the very subtle, the very calm na in-exude ni Mirhan sa photo na to, kinds of give you, a hint of her potential. Next, I have Binibining Pilipinas 26, Reyma Adapo din. And hindi siya pwedeng ilaglag dito sa listahan of the best glam shots, because if you look at her photo, look at the way that she uses yung expression ng kanyang eyes. It's kind of lazy eye, but at the same time strong and very enigmatic and very magnetic. It pulls you in whenever you look at her photo here in the social media ng Binibining Pilipinas na Instagram. You would see that she's making use of a very subtle na look sa kanyang eye, but strong. It's not the kind of photo na an amateur could easily pull off. That kind of, that kind of lazy eye or very, very nonchalant yung kanyang pose. But at the same time, emanates a strong presence. I think that is why, that's the reason why, if it were up to me, I would give her maybe na position in terms of the glam shot photos. Personally, I am drawn to her image, to her photo doon sa exhibit kanina, and then looking up close dito sa kanyang photo on the Binibining Pilipinas Instagram page, nakikita ko na oo, iba yung pull, iba yung hatak niya sa akin. There is this sense of, yes, I'm beautiful, but I'm not intimidating. But I know that I have a presence, and I think that's what Rima is able to pull off in that in her photos. Okay. Next, I have Binibini number. Where is it? Binibini number 3, Lyra Punsalan, from Pampanga. Kapag tinignan mo yung kanyang image, whether it's on the website, where on the Instagram na page or on the actual na exhibit, it's the same photo, but I kind of like the exhibit photo na may mga background, because it illustrates the fact that kahit na may background to distract you from yung image yung mukha ni Lyra, the way that she positioned her body allows you to hone in to her face and really appreciate yung subtle way na kahit na maraming flowers at the background of her exhibit photo, ang namumukod tanging tinitignan mo is actually her face, her image. Kasi ganun yung magandang photo. That no matter what is happening at the background, the foreground remains to be the center of the subject. And kung itong image na to, itong photo na ito, in-style mo using the very maximalist na approach of Binibining Pilipinas Glamshots in 2021 last year, the blue na background, alam mong kay Lyra ka pa rin titingin, because she is able to give you a strong photo. So I think yung listahan na to, maraming natanggal because of yung mga girls na hindi natin napapansin. And Lyra is one of those girls na hindi ganun ka-popular, but she delivered it very much on the glam shot photos. Okay, next, nakailan na tayo? Naka 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Naka 5 na tayo. Basa muna tayo ng mga comments before we continue. Okay? Fan, sabi niya, nabawasan yata ang sponsors ng BBP compared sa last year. Shane Bergais, Kumu, Moist Dayan, and Silka. The thing about Binibini is that they are the sponsor. The Araneta Group of companies, kapag silang nag-sponsor ng Binibining Pilipinas, kaya-kaya pa rin nilang mag-survive. Because again, hashtag generational wealth. We all know it's been published in different broadsheets and different news programs, news websites and social media platforms nitong mga news agencies na to, na there is like $10 million na worth of alahas na nasa JP Morgan and Chase na hinahabol ngayon ng Araneta. So in terms of money, hindi issue sa kanila 'yon. Imagine in the years 2000, up until 2009. The Philippines has not bagged a placement at all at Miss Universe. During that time, lagas din ang sponsors ng Binibining Pilipinas. And ang naiwan na nag-sponsor are the Araneta group of companies themselves. If in 10 years, nagawa nilang mag-survive without major sponsors, alam mo nasa kanila ang pera, alam mo hahabulin sila because of their of their capacity na mag-produce ng isang pageant without major sponsors. So kahit mawalan man sila, hanggat meron silang Araneta group of companies that's going to sponsor them, they're they're gonna survive. One thing that to understand about generational wealth is that for every generation na it's passed on, it multiplies, it becomes more. So with the number of investments that they have here and abroad, I don't think na mawawalan sila ng I don't think iindahin nila na mawalan sila ng what do you call this? Mawalan sila ng mga sponsors. And if I'm not mistaken, in around 2021 or 2020, there was a year where last minute nag-sponsor ang isang tawag ito, isang major no. I think it's Creamy Silk. Last minute silang humabol as major sponsor ng Binibini. So there. Masaya ako na wala ang Shane kasi the Shane brand is problematic. They have issues that they're not paying yung mga workers nila well. They have issues that they are stealing designs, rumors that they are stealing designs from lesser known na mga designers, and overall yung fast fashion does not go well with the sustainability na element that they are pushing. It doesn't pushing for local grown talents, and then at the same time makikita na ang major sponsor mo is Shane, because Shane is a fast fashion brand, and fast fashion is the problem with fast fashion is that it contributes with the global waste that we experience. I'm sure you're very much aware of how fast fashion disposes yung kanilang mga clothes, how quality is not at the core of fast fashion brands. So we really should stop supporting these big brands that does not help at all in the fight for climate change. So there. If a-attend si Madam sa final, sabi ni Fan, baka maaga mag-start, baka di na carry ni Madam ang super late. Pwede. However, I am looking forward for the press presentation kung nandun si Madam. Kasi kung nandun si Madam, kawawa yung mga girls na parating late. And pag-uusapan natin yan at the end of this this list of best glam shot photos, kasi I really needed to put a highlight on this. Okay. Leogard CG, he's mentioning about Leia Macapagal. Okay. I like Leia Macapagal. She's pretty. She looks really well put together. Maganda yung skin niya parate. But my problem is that she doesn't seem to be gaining momentum as of this moment. Wait lang. Let me just adjust this. I think Leia has a very compelling na resume. I think that hindi lang siya napapansin, and I don't know why, kasi kapag tinitignan ko siya sa mga events, she actually looks pretty. Maganda siya. Well, there's no question about that. I just don't know kung ano yung part where bakit hindi siya napapansin ng mga fans, because I was rooting for her during her Miss Philippines Earth na na stint several years back. This time around, I don't know, mas agresibo or mas marunong lang sigurong pumi-R or mas that is stealing the limelight away from her. Okay? So, I am hoping that in the next na mga events, bumawi si Leia. Okay, Lemon 23.5. At the end of the day, tama ka, Sir Jason. It's all about going to boil down sa overall presentation ng mga girls and the selection committee decision on who will land the crowns. Fans is asking, thoughts sa Miss Cosmo World PH, bakit sila nag-stand alone? With regards to that, I think that wala naman yatang move ang Cosmo World na magkaroon ng affiliation with Binibining Pilipinas. If I remember correctly, I already mentioned several live streams back na the franchise for Miss Cosmo World is under a separate entity. So I am doubtful na lilipat sila ng tawag nito, ng pagmamay-ari, that they're going to jump to Binibining Pilipinas. Aloy says, it's high time na may sarili ng international pageant ang BPCI. That's an intriguing thought, and I haven't put much thought on that, but maybe that's a conversation that we need to table for now and discuss, someday in the future. Pageant Talk 2017, yes, they are the Arenetas. That's why hindi mo pwedeng i-dismiss na lang yung generational wealth, because honestly, the way pinapalakad ng mga Arenetas yung kanilang mga companies, if they're not good at their job, then dapat noon pa nag-close down na ang Binibining Pilipinas, because 10 years tayong nagkaroon ng drought sa Miss Universe, and during that time, paliit yung mga companies na nag-i-sponsor ng pageants. However, they were able to turn that back around in the 2010s. And kita nyo naman na kahit na malagasan sila ng sponsor, malagasan sila ng titles, they're still alive and kicking. And looking at the way that we see yung kanilang mga content on social media, the way that they're able to pay on their own yung mga photo shoots sa mga candidates without having someone else sponsor these photo shoots, gives us an idea that may pera itong mga ito. And from what I've heard is that yung annual budget, yung 3-month na budget nila for Binibining Pilipinas is around twice the value of the national franchise for Miss Universe Philippines. This is allegedly, it only goes to show na may pera sila. Hindi sila mauubusan ng pera dahil kung kaya nilang bayaran yung franchise fee ng Miss Universe during the time that they still had the pageant, license under Binibining Pilipinas, ng isang bagsakan, nang hindi kinakailangang mag-resort to ilang beses silang magbabayad. Isang bagsakan lang yung kanilang payment scheme for the Miss Universe franchise when they had it, years before. It only goes to show talaga na hindi sila affected. Okay? Sandali lang. Again, let's look at Dorothy V. Jones. Binibini should really start hiring fresh, masterful marketing people. Yes, they may have their own brand of advocacy, but they should talk about these and not leave it to SOCMED content creators. There's a severe lack of marketing focus. That's an area I think na constantly kinakailangan nilang i-update when it comes to their social media presence. Kasi kung their best social media presence for me was around 2021. 2021, 2022. But I have um, certain ideas for Binibining Pilipinas 2021 kasi that was the pandemic, and then they were able to, um, to stretch out yung content nila, at create, very up to date, real time na mga updates. Yun yung pinaka-impressed ako na year when it comes to their social media presence. Now, I think let's go back doon sa ating listahan ng mga best glam shots. I think we're at number 6. Again, this is random. Hindi ko sila ni-rank. I just listed down the girls na tingin ko very impressive yung kanilang photos doon sa glam shot. I have Zea Nestle pala. I've said this before. Zea is arguably the face of Binibining Pilipinas this year. She does not take bad photos. And even if cellphone lang ang gamit ko na pagkuha sa kanya, na nakuhanan siya sa mga photos niya, she never gives me, really bad na mga images. Kasi not unless siguro gumalaw ang kamay ko habang kinukuhanan ko siya ng mga pictures, but she always gives me really good angles sa kanyang mga photos when I take them for thumbnails, ganyan. But essentially dito sa Binibining Pilipinas na glam shot niya, dinala niya 'yon, yung ability na 'yon, and hindi ka masu-surprise because she really nails photos. I think for me, if it was up to me, I would give the most photogenic na title kay Zea. And just look at that. I hope you can see it. Ayan. Just look at that photo. It shows you na itong photo na to, I don't think that this is her even best na photo among her, glam shots. But the mere fact that she can give you an almost head-on na image, and still manage to look good, to look great, tells you that she really is beautiful. I told her, in one of the events na, alam mo, Zea, I think ikaw yung gazini ng batch na ito dahil pagdating sa mukha, lumulutang ka sa mga photos. Pag niline up yung mga pictures niya and tignan mo siya in person, kung minsan mas maganda pa siya in person than her photos. That's how beautiful she is. And I really think that this photo of hers doon sa glam shot exhibit is not even, her best photo. I think may mga nakatago pang mas magaganda pang mga pictures si Zea. And I think na tawag ito na even if yung pinaka least na maganda niyang photo ang isama mo doon sa exhibit, and the mere fact na kaya niyang, lumebel sa the best na mga photos ng ibang mga girls tells you that this girl, wag mo siyang i-count out doon sa listahan mo when it comes to the most photogenic na mga girls. I won't be surprised later on if she gets the Miss Photogenic na title because ganun siya talaga kaganda. Next on my list, I have Katrina Johnson. Okay. Sandali lang. Let me just pull up yung image ni Katrina. Kasi the thing about it, oops, it's not showing. Why? Okay. Sandali lang at naglo-load yung aking phone. What I like about Katrina, she really looks like a Miss International na prototype. Ayan. Okay. I hope you see it. That kind of face, di mo pwedeng hindi isipin na pwede ito sa Miss International kasi that is a very baby doll, porcelain doll na mukha. My only problem with her is that when I take photos of her, so sobrang happy na pagiging, she's very bubbly kasi eh. So sobrang pagiging bubbly and very personable niya. Kapag ngumingiti siya, nawawala yung mata niya pag ngumingiti siya. Ganito siya ngumiti. Ganyan. And this happens in her candids na sana someday soon makorrect niya because we really want more eye contact with her whenever she takes photos, especially her smiling photos kasi ang tamis niyang ngumiti in person. She really has one of the best smiles. Kung buhay pa yung Miss Close-Up smile na na special award that was popular in the 1990s. And there was this myth na whoever wins Miss Close-Up Smile, she gets to win Binibining Pilipinas Universe at that time. So ito yung na-feel ko with Katrina. Again, a little bit more playfulness on the way that she positions her hand, the way she tilts her head. Because what I find what I can critique about her photo is actually that she looks a little bit stiff in this photo. And I want her to relax more when it comes to her, shoulder and her hands para hindi siya masyadong parang aral yung pose. So I think that's the only thing that I can critique about her photo. But when it comes to the beauty of the face, when it comes to the way that her eyes engage with the camera, no questions, no problems there. And I think she really did nail yung kanyang pose very well. I just wanted a little bit more relaxed na look doon sa kanyang image. Okay? And then next, I have ayaw mag-pull up ng photo. Sorry about that. I didn't download kasi the photos unlike before. I have Zoe Santiago from Manila, Binibining Pilipinas candidate number 23. Zoe, sanda yan, ayan, nag-pull up na siya. Zoe in her photo really looks gorgeous. I hope you can see that. Gorgeous. The angle, the tilt of the head, the way that she positioned her hand, really gorgeous. Halos wala akong masabi kasi ang ganda-ganda niya talaga. She registers well on camera. She knows that. She knows her angles. The way na very sleepy yung eyes, the way that she tilts her head, the way that she shows teeth in her photo. Parang in other cases, if you give this kind of pose to other amateur na mga girls, they won't be able to nail this pose as good as Zoe did. And I think dito sa photo na yon, hindi mo alam kung saan ka magfo-focus, kung sa mata, sa ilong, or sa bibig, because the way that her pose was created really made her look like she's the pinaka-alta na girl in her batch. Ayan. So I really want na sana consistent na magawa niya yung ganitong klaseng consistent na magandang look and image doon sa kanyang mga future na mga photos, especially for the national costume at sa kanyang swimsuit na glam shot. Again, yung national costume was done in around March. The swimsuit shot was around February, if I'm not mistaken. And then the next on my list is Jessilyn Salvador. Just look at how gorgeous her image looks like. Ayan, na kailangan pala medyo diliman natin ng konti yung para makita nyo siya. So you see how very simple but very very tawag nito, very um, soft yung kanyang muka dito sa image na to, because when you see Jesselyn doon in person, she really has very, angular na facial structure. She has sharp facial features that works well if you want to project, very strong na aura on photos. But this photo, the reason why it's on my top 10 list is because matapang yung kanyang kanyang arrive in person, yung kanyang facial structure, yung kanyang bone structure, which is very high na cheekbones and very angular na jawline, but nakaya niyang palambutin yung kanyang look for this for this glam shot. And if she is able to do that and able to do that consistently, I think, people might start thinking of her na pwedeng ilaban ito sa international, sa Miss International. Because Jesselyn has really very unique na Filipina na face. And I know this will be controversial if I say this, but I find her prettier, or rather, I find her much more gorgeous than her sister Maha. And this is not a slight to Maha. Si Maha, maganda si Maha. Alam natin yan. Hindi natin kinakailangan i-question yung ganda ni Maha. But I find Jesselyn's beauty much more appealing to a international na audience than that of Maha. And I think, again, this is just my opinion. Huwag niyo akong i-cancel on social media for saying na mas nagagandahan ako kay Jesselyn. But I really find her, very Eurasian yung kanyang features. So there are instances that when you look directly at her nang biglang tingin, parang foreigner to. But there are also instances when you look at her nang mas matagal, Pinay to. So the mere fact that she's able to to play it off well, yung ganung looks, really says something about how pretty she is. Okay, now last on my list, I know medyo controversial tong list na to dahil a lot of the front runners are not on my list, but I really have to say, basing on their photos, ito yung 10 na super impressed ako. The last on my list is I have nawala again. Sorry about that. I have Aliyah Estores. There. Just look at that. I mean, come on. Yung cheekbones, yung very high cheekbones, yung the way na mesmerizing yung gaze niya doon sa kanyang photo. I really am, I really am impressed na Aliyah is not supposed to be part of the Binibining Pilipinas candidates this year kasi when they announced the top 35, Aliyah was not in the roster. Nung nagdagdag sila ng additional na 5 girls, that 5 girls included Aliyah, included Jesselyn Salvador, of course, and it also included Katrina Johnson. So imagine niyo yung mga girls na na dagdag lang doon sa top 40. Sila pa yung ngayon bumabawi when it comes to their glam shots. It only goes to show that very subtle yung competitiveness nitong batch na to. But at the same time, na kahit na additional lang yung mga girls na to doon sa 40 na candidates, very competitive pa rin sila. So I think that's the what do you call this? That is the reason why nakikitaan ko ng fire and ng gigil yung mga girls na to, because they have something to prove themselves. And Aliyah, I am not a fan of yung body positioning niya, yung kanyang pose, But that is all negated because very strong yung kanyang mukha. Very strong yung kanyang rehistro ng kanyang face. She's delivering face in this in her photo. Hindi ganun ka-strong yung kanyang body positioning, but that is negated simply because she gave us face. And Aliyah is one of the girls that I would say is one of the prettiest girls in this batch because habang tinititigan ko siya during the events in Binibining Pilipinas, I'm kind of reminded of her of three past Binibining Pilipinas queens. In some cases, naaalala ko sa kanya si Binibining Pilipinas International, Sheila May Santarin, who is, siya yung kabatch ni na Rufa at saka ni Dindy Gallardo in 1993, who competed in Miss International that year. She also reminds me of Jennifer Hammond. Jennifer Hammond, as we all know, placed among the semifinals of Miss Intercontinental 2016. And then at the same time, habang tinitigan ko siya ng matagal, I am reminded of her of Jeanette Fernando, who is Binibining Pilipinas Tourism in, I think, 1994, if I'm not mistaken. I hope I got that right. So ibig sabihin, Leah is actually, kind of parang similar with the instance and case of Mirhan, because silang dalawa reminds us of past Binibining Pilipinas queens. And if you notice, Miss Universe, Binibining Pilipinas, there are certain faces na tipong ito yung molde ng pageant na to. Much like if you look at yung mga Venezuelan winners ng Miss World, like oh my God, Jacqueline Aguilera, and yung mga past queens nila in the 90s. I think 1991 and 1989, if I'm not mistaken. Lahat sila halos magkakamukha. Especially on the year that they won. Very pale skin, dark raven hair. Halos iisa yung kartada ng mga mukha nila. Much like if you look at Diana Harkusha, who won second runner-up in Miss Universe in 2014, kind of reminds me of Oksana Fedorova, who won Miss Universe before she was dethroned. So, ganun yung nakikita ko kay Mirhan at saka kay Aliyah. So, these are the girls that when it comes to their photos really gave me an impression. But there are also some girls na gusto kong isama na i-mention as bubbling up in my list. Of course, kasama dun sa listahan na yon si Kiara Gel Gregorio. My problem with her photo is that halos hindi niya kamukha yung photo niya in person. I think the angle of her photo and her and her face really really did not capture how she looks in person. However, what I do like about yung kanyang photo is the way that she posed, because it kind of give you an S line with the position of the flower on her head down to the flowers on her shoulders and her dress. So you can see movement, and I think that's one of the reasons why she's still in my top 12, top 15 na list, but not in my top 10. I have another girl in my list na I would have loved to include, but I was just overwhelmed with the dress that she wore, and that is Binibining Pilipinas candidate Jean Isabel Bilasano. If you look at yung kanyang photo, she looks great. Wala kang maipintas, but it's so distracting yung the way that the feathers are protruding out of her dress. The thing that she could have done is to gather some of those gather some of those, feathers, much like how Zina Ramos did. And Zina Ramos actually is one of the girls in my, bubbling under na list when it comes to their glam shot photos. So there, kita nyo kung paano niya ginather yung mga feathers sa kanyang chest, so that may there is certain movements, but it's not too over the place when it comes to yung positioning ng feathers. So another girl that I have on my list is actually nasaan na? Si Gianna. Okay, si Gianna. Gianna Llanes is a there. The thing that I would have done to make her photo in my top 10 is reduce one of those flowers on her head, because it's kind of distracting. I think yung front na flower sa kanyang head, I would have reduced it para hindi siya masyadong umaway doon sa positioning ng kanyang uh, kanyang tawag ito, kanyang body pose. Kasi if you look at the way that it's placed on her head, parang there's too much elements na takes away the focus from her face. And then finally, I would include, again, ang ganda-ganda ni Leia dito, but again, ang problema ko is there's so much, distraction created uh, by the feathers. So the best way to do that is to gather and position your body so that you make sure that yung movement ng mga feathers, yung created by the eye, is only one is directional, but going only to leaning to one place, at hindi yung sa lansan na ang dami niyang pinupuntahan. Okay? I think when it comes to uh, to the feather na dress, the one who really nailed it is actually Mirhan, because what she did there is, in order for the eyes to move towards her face, yung positioning ng kanyang dalawang hands are placed strategically so that yung mata mo hindi pumupunta kung saan-saan because of the placement of the feathers of the dress. She really made a good way of leading your eyes to her face because of the hand movement. Now, let's go to the challenge of creating a good photo in terms of glam shots or headshots. Because if you have an opportunity to learn from the videos of Coco Rocha, siya yung siya yung what do you call this? Siya yung supermodel that really takes good photos. And the way she does that is positioning her body, angling her torso, her lower torso, her limbs, in order to create different shapes, in order to create interesting shapes on photograph. And sana the girls should have made, reviewed yung mga videos ni Coco Rocha on the positioning of the hands, because when you are doing a glam shot, importante kung saan mo ilalagay ang kamay mo. If you notice, a lot of the girls that are on my list, maganda yung position ng hands leading towards the face and not away from the face. Best example for me of using the hands in terms of yung kanilang photo in tawag ito in their glam shots is Angelica Lopez and si Mirhan. Sila yung super ganda nung positioning ng kanilang photo in relation to the face, the hands, and the movement of the dress and all. Now, there's also one girl pala that I forgot to mention in my list that that is on my bubbling under below my top 10, and that's Candy or Sandy. Okay, how do we angle this so that we can see it properly? Ayan. Dr. Sandy Vollinger. And if you look at yung kanyang positioning na kanyang head, yung tilt ng kanyang head, yung position ng kanyang kamay from her right hand and her left hand, you get a movement from her head like a C. Yung mukha, yung kamay at saka yung isang kamay, it draws your eyes to the movement na it created by the positioning of her hands. So, yun sana yung isa sa mga pinag-aralan ng mga girls when it comes to doing their headshots, because it's important that you create interesting shapes, interesting silhouettes when you are photographing, especially for the headshot. Kasi sa headshot, ang pinaka-importante na kinakailangan mong ipakita is yung mukha. And you need to use your hands to lead the viewer's eye to your face. So, yun yung I think glam shot photos, and some of the girls, needs um, a little bit more training or finesse or polish on that area. Okay, let's read now some comments before we go further with mga further updates ng activities ng mga girls. Nasaan na ba tayo? Fan, in a bit, yung tanong mo about Binibining Pilipinas activities. Dorothy V. Jones, suggestion niya is Binibini should consider giving crowns or titles for certain causes based on the strength of the candidate's work in her field of advocacy. This would realign Binibini as competitive and relevant even if the queen won't be necessarily joining an international pageant. Again, I think that's a good way, to for Binibini to think about. I think may point ka dyan. I'm just hoping na hindi lang maging excuse ito or maging puna ito ng mga tao na kaya lang naman siya nagkaroon ng advocacy because of the what do you call this, the pageant. And I think in one hand there is this wisdom doon sa sinabi ng MUPH na it's not the advocacy that gets you to win a title, but it's the personality or whatever. But on one hand, you kind of need an advocacy. You kind of need something that you stand for in order for you to be relevant. So I do think what Dorothy is saying here is valid. Na sana may aligned na causes based on each of the candidates, directive sa kanilang mga advocacy. Now, last thing on my agenda is what are the things that we need to be looking at for the upcoming na mga activities ng Binibining Pilipinas. Of course, meron tayong press presentation na mangyayari and meron tayong parade na mangyayari. Yung Flores de Mayo, I think it's also happening. I'm just waiting for confirmation with that. But definitely the Grand Parade, meron at meron yan. Tapos magkakaroon pa tayo ng separate na national costume and jag jeans na fashion show. Yung nakita natin na jag jeans na segment during the talent portion, apparently it was only at the request so that magkaroon ng enough time for the candidates who are performing for their talents na meron silang oras para magpalit ng kanilang mga costumes for the talent show. So, meron pang mangyayaring separate na jag jeans na show later on. Okay? I think that's that's it for this live stream. I think I've discussed everything that I want to discuss with regards to the event today na nangyari doon sa Glamshot headshot reveal during the exhibit. I think this year may excite ang mga pageant fans sa Binibining Pilipinas because they're consistent with their brand. Hindi sila yung making multiple changes every year, especially with the fact that very traditional din yung kanilang main title. So we should be expecting the same level of same level of glamour, the same level of dedication to the candidates, the same level of activities as we did in the past. What are the things that they're gonna do new this year? That I am not yet aware of, or rather I'm not yet allowed to talk about. But isipin na lang natin na mas maganda yung ma-surprise tayo. Much like how we were all pleasantly surprised with how high level yung glam shot ng Binibining Pilipinas this year is. I don't think talaga na any of the national pageants that is currently happening is able to lick yung na-achieve ng glam shot na exhibit na ito in terms of reminding us on the prestige of the Binibining Pilipinas brand. So there, thank you very much for everyone who came in doon sa ating live stream ngayon. I know it's very much out of our usual na time slot. That's why I also understand na mas kukunti tayo na nandito ngayon. But I do hope that on Saturday, when we are discussing yung mga standouts on Miss Universe Philippines, mas meron tayong mapag-uusapan because they have released several challenges. I've seen some of the content ng Miss Universe Philippines. So gusto ko munang i-review siya once again para hindi ako magkamali doon sa aking mga listahan, because I need to go through again doon sa mga nilabas nilang mga content. Ayan, before we leave, I hope that you would like, share, give a thumbs up dito sa ating live stream so that it triggers yung algorithm ng YouTube so that it would share it to more people para lumaki tayo dito. Please, for those na bagong dating, team replay na lang po tayo. I've tried as much as possible to answer all of your questions, and I'm sure na meron pa kayong mga itatanong sa susunod na live stream natin. So thank you guys for joining us tonight. Salamat sa mga nagpuyat ngayong gabi, and I hope to see you on Saturday sa ating usual na regular live stream. Okay, see you again soon, and take care everyone. Good evening and bye-bye.